Hey spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6. Now, where we left off, I believe we were working on getting our way over to... Oh, let me get this tech tree scrolled over. We're working our way over to electricity, and we had just gotten chemistry, and I think we were going to go for rocketry after that. So I'm going to pick up electricity. If I recall correctly, it requires flight and radio to get to rocketry. Now, is there anything we want to pick up on the way to rocketry? I don't think so. But what I might do is I might go like electricity into rocketry, into computers, into nuclear fusion, into stuff like that. But what we're going to do is we're definitely going to go for electricity, and then we'll kind of make our decision once we get to there. I could like purchase 3 privateers, but I think I'll just let the tech go through. It's not a big deal. So we're going to go into the next turn here. Nice. Turn transitions are getting quite long. I think we're in a good position here now to win the game. I think if I go in here, yeah, I'm definitely leading in the terms of technology by a decent amount. Oh, we have different governments, so they're denouncing me. Not that I really care about that. Now in culture, we are definitely behind. Although we didn't really ever go for any sort of culture. Although oddly, we actually have more tourism per turn. So, but somehow we're behind Chinese Empire with 13 culture. That's really odd. They must have gotten like a big... They must have had culture really early or something to get that much? I'm not sure. So let's have a look here. Research lab. I think we just finished an entertainment complex, so I think the research lab is the thing to go for here. It gives me plus 10 science, plus 1 scientist rate person point per turn, which is something we definitely want to keep an eye on. This is a decent great merchant. I don't think I care about this great merchant, but I'm probably going to have to get it anyway because I think I'm the only one going for it. So what did we do over here? We built a theater square. I think that was just to get our culture up a little bit because we were falling behind in terms of our culture relative to our science. And I may just do a little bit of amphitheater purchasing and stuff like that. Just to see if we can speed that up. Like I might even grab an archaeological museum. Just to speed it up, just to get the culture going a little bit quicker. I will grab... Oh, you know what I need to do? I think I need to get a neighborhood here. And, I could stick it there. That would hurt that farm a lot. I could stick it in some of these tiles, but I would need to buy those. I could destroy this mine. It would open up the city the ability to get a lot more population if I look here. If I were to kill that mine, I would lose 4 production and 2 food, but I would open up a lot of opportunities for other things. So I think what I will do is I will indeed, since that looks like that's my best option to not hurt my city much, I'll stick it there for now. I'm going to kill that mine. Sadly, it does hurt the production of the city, but I think the city has pretty decent production anyway. Okay, we just finished a research amphitheater here as well. I am going to build the amphitheaters. I would like the science, but I think right now I just need the culture to try and catch up a little bit. I think you already have production from factories. Yeah, you do. So I think I can live... without that for now. And I can go ahead and I can grab something like the bank upgrade, which is plus 3 gold, which is, you know, nothing to sniff at this stage in the game. You do have a factory now in your city. I will grab the... sewer upgrade. No, I won't grab the sewer upgrade. What I will grab though... You have a campus... Well, you grab the market. The market is a pretty good one. Decent amount of gold in that. What do you also grab a market? It's a single turn for 6 gold per turn. Now, was I keeping Mecca as my... Or was I going to build it in Baghdad? I think I was switching over all of my trade routes to Baghdad, right? If I go into my trade route overview... if I go by origin... Yeah, a lot of these were moved over to Baghdad. So I think I'm going to start working out of Baghdad in terms of my production. Because I think Baghdad already has, like, way more production than Mecca. Which is, oh, you know what I need over here? I need a neighborhood. I don't want to crush the national park. I want to keep that. I think I'll just crush the basic desert tiles, right? Even though you're working them. You are working them. Yeah, I'm gonna crush those desert tiles because you actually have a fairly good food surplus right now. Oh, you don't actually. Where would I get extra food surplus for you? We'll have to see. I'm gonna stick down the neighborhood over here. So what tile are you working? I assume you're working that mine? Yes, so I will upgrade the mine so that you work a little bit quicker. And you are working the salt also, and so I will upgrade. The salt has been upgraded. So what else are you working? You're working that fish. If I were to upgrade that other salt though, that might be good. You can't go into... Oh, here you go. Auto Explorer, please. Okay, next turn. I was thinking, you know, just there, this game gives you a lot of incentive to look at your own empire, but it never really gives you an incentive to look at an enemy empire. Like, I don't really get any information from looking at this guy's cities, which is kind of odd. I feel like this game is very, internalistic, self-focused. I don't know exactly what the phraseology I'm looking to express that idea, but it seems like it's very, very much so, focused on the self. Well, there's not really you can do. You're kind of just dead, I'm afraid. Next turn. I think this will be a kill. Some pirate caravels running around here. It would be interesting if they changed the naval units from barbarians to pirates, just like thematically. Mechanically, they would function the same, but it would be cool if they like adjusted the models to put little skull and crossbones on their ships. I mean, I might even take a picture of that and submit that to like a community website like Reddit or something. I think that would be a really cool idea. It would just be a small, it would be one of those small little touches that they don't really change the game, but they kind of add something anyway. I am going to get an amphitheater here because the extra 5% non-food yields from the amenity would be quite good. You have got your bank upgrade now. I am going to grab a stock exchange because it's even more gold per turn, which is really good because more gold per turn means we can do more purchasing, means we can move things around. Gold is a currency, but it's a production currency generally speaking, and you can use it for a lot of different things. Is James Joyce? He was an Irish writer, actually. I don't know much about James Joyce. Now, I do know what I know about him would make even the most hardened person a little bit uncomfortable. Because James Joyce was a bit of a deviant, to put it lightly. He has letters, he has extremely explicit letters sent between himself and his, the apple of his eye, Nora, his muse or whatever you want to call her. I don't know what, I don't even know if they were married or if it was just a relationship that they had, but these are not the sort of letters you could read out in a high school setting. These are the sort of thing that, I'm not encouraging you to go look them up, but I'm not telling you not to do it either, okay? Look up James Joyce's letters to Nora. Don't do that. Don't do it, but go do it, because it's fucking hilarious. No, but apparently Ulysses, I don't even know how to pronounce that fucking book's name, but apparently it's like one of the most difficult books in the world to read, just because I don't even know exactly what it is. I've never made an attempt to read it, and I don't think I ever will because I just could not give a single F about it. But apparently, it's so like dense and technical for a book that it's like the actual structure of the language and the writing and all that stuff is really tough to get past. I was actually reading a really good story there the other day about a guy who, when he was like not a kid per se, but when he was younger, he was really upset with his parents for one reason or another. And he went off to, and he was going to run away, sort of thing. And he went off to whatever it was. He went off. He took the train around the city, and he met this girl. And the girl, after talking to her for a while, she gave him a challenge to read James Joyce's Ulysses in a single sitting. And any of you sitting here who've heard the story or know about the book know that that is one hell of a goddamn challenge to try and read that book in a single sitting. Because from what I know is that it's an extremely difficult book to read. Just for various reasons. So I'm going to make a trade route with Athens. Yeah, I managed to talk through that. I really do feel like I'm getting better at the whole, like, talking about unrelated things while playing. I'm going to actually go ahead and get the gain sources here because I want to operate at a higher level. I'm trying to think about any other things that I've been really, thinking about recently. That's another thing, right? Until you like sit in this chair, metaphorically speaking, until you've sat here and tried to, record a stream of consciousness and produce content, you don't know like how actually tough it is to not only play a game competently, but to come up with commentary that is relevant and interesting and meaningful. It's actually extremely, I don't want to say extremely difficult because then I feel like I'm exaggerating, but it's like, it is a skill. Like this takes effort for me to do this, to sit here and try to sort of fumble, I don't know if I want to say fumble, but kind of work my way through thoughts and ideas. Even just commentating on the actual gameplay itself in a meaningful way is by no means an easy feat. Like, even just saying relevant things, even just saying interesting things is a challenge in some respects. And to try and keep that, and I think it really is one of those things that you just get better at as you do. Like anything, I truly believe that if you do things, you just get better at them over time. And I think I feel like that's pretty self-evident. I don't think that's like a really controversial belief that, if you do things, you get better at them. Like, I feel like that's a really sensible thing to believe. So, it's almost like, why bother even mention it? But I think it's worthwhile to mention because a lot of people, they have this sort of thing inside them where they say, oh, I'm no good at this, therefore I will never be good at this. And it's like, no, because you're not good at it now, but if you sacrifice some time and energy, you could be. The potential within you exists to be at least, somewhat competent at the thing that you're trying to be good at. And I think that's something a lot of people, not that they deny or they just, it's not even that they forget it, it's that they don't make a conscious effort to remember it. And I think that's really something you have to remember. Actually, I'm going to pick up replaceable parts here because I want the +1 food adjacency from farm improvements. And I'm also going to pick up steel because I want the +1 production from lumber mills. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy. And then I'll investigate what my scientific situation is in a few turns. So here, I've just built the research lab. I think I'm going to grab the power plant because that'll give me production throughout my empire. I'm going to grab the bank upgrade. I think science-wise, I'm pretty happy with my current situation in terms of science. But yeah, like a lot of people, they don't think about what it means. No, not what it means. How do I phrase this in a sort of non-clumsy way? It's not that they don't think about what it means. It's that they don't think about the significance. They don't think about how important it is. Are you working? You are working some coastal tiles, so it would be worth it to get the seaport, because the seaport would give me some food and gold, but it would also increase the amount of gold on the coastal tiles, so I may well build the seaport. But yeah, like, I feel like, and I'm always wary when I'm kind of saying these sort of things. I don't want to come off as some sort of, not an overlord, but someone who's like looking down upon people. I don't want to look like I'm looking down upon people. Too much. I think it's actually reasonable to occasionally look down upon people, because that gives you perspective about what you value, right? So if you, but it's the way you look down upon them, right? It's not about looking down upon. How do I phrase this to make it not sound worse, because then it sounds like I'm trying to modulate my language to reduce offense, but rather I'm trying to make it make sense and be coherent and consistent. Like, it's not that I encourage people to look down upon people. It's that occasionally that reaction is valuable, right? That if you see somebody, let's say you see someone, doing drugs or something, and you're like, oh, ugh, and you have this visceral, horrible reaction. That's a useful thing to have, right? That's useful because you can turn it into other things. I don't think we should discard that. I think it's not that looking down upon people is justified, it's that it's useful sometimes. Actually, I kind of wanted to remove those bananas, didn't I? Is there a jungle tile there? Yeah, I'm going to remove the bananas, so I kind of made a mistake here. So, like, I'm trying to think of a really good example, but it's a hard thing to come up with examples for, right? Because it's such an abstract idea that even the baseline, even though the direct outcome isn't necessarily positive, the mere existence of the thing has potential positive outcomes, right? That's a hard idea to understand, and even I'm not really sure exactly what I'm talking about there when I say that, but something in me tells me it's true. I don't have any way to. Oh, I kind of just got this guy killed by putting him beside a hussar, but I don't even really have a way to ascertain whether there's any truth in that. But it's something I've been kind of thinking about, and I have been thinking a lot more lately about philosophy, and I've been wanting to read Nietzsche and all these sort of 20th century, I think 19th century. I want to read some 18th, 19th, and 20th century philosophy. I've been getting really into it, sort of lightly. I want to say I don't want to say I've been getting really into it because I don't want to give people the false impression that I've been poring over arcane philosophical tomes. No, I've just been whenever information about philosophy kind of crosses my path, I take a bit of time to have a look at it because I find it really interesting and really engaging. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. That I've just been having a lot of philosophical thoughts lately. And even just that idea, there's this really kind of strange idea we have that we come up with our own thoughts, but I'm not really sure that we do. I think thoughts kind of, I don't want to say magically appear to you, but it's almost like that, right? It's almost like sometimes you're just thinking and then a thought just comes into your head. And it's almost fully formed, and you don't really need to do much to it until it's actually a really valuable thing, right? It's not that it comes into your even J.K. Rowling, when she was talking about writing the Harry Potter books, I remember this. Fucking don't ask me how I remember this or why I remember this, but Jesus Christ, this is a nugget of knowledge embedded in the back of my fucking psyche. She said when she was thinking of when the story, she didn't really build the story. The story, she said, it sort of folded into her mind almost fully formed. There wasn't really much left for her to do when the story sort of arrived to her, right? It didn't need much work from her to get it to be a coherent and valuable story. Araka needs some traders to feed it, actually, because it's a little bit light on the trader side of things. And I think this is and so just kind of where I'm going with this is sort of me practicing talking about, because in reality, a lot of you guys who are watching, who like to watch my series, by the end of the series, the viewership has dropped off a little bit, right? Which is, perfectly reasonable. You get towards the end of a series, you don't want to watch it as much because there's not as much interest. Because, I think it's indicative of, to civilization in general that, the game gets less interesting the more time has gone on. But anyway, so I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to experiment with new, ways of talking while I'm playing. Because you can, if I play slowly while I'm talking, right, you can kind of follow what I'm doing. And I don't need to narrate it, and I can just talk about whatever comes into my head, right? Which I think is a much more interesting format for me as a player, right? But also as a viewer, it's a pretty interesting format because not only are you getting a visual stimulation, you might be getting an oral or even a mental or whatever other stimulation that's not just about the game. And And, and it might turn out that that's like a bad idea and nobody wants it. But, I'm never going to find that out unless I try it out, right? It's never going to manifest itself unless I just make it happen. And that's the thing, things just don't... Well, I guess that's kind of contradictory. I say things just don't appear, but I think just because an idea manifests itself in your mind, it doesn't mean it manifests itself in the real world. And then I'm not even sure if that's true, because I think they might actually manifest themselves in the real world anyway, right? Because if you think of something, the mere fact that you have thought of that influences the world around you, right? Doesn't it? No? Maybe? Am I just full of shit? I don't know. I don't actually know. Okay, so we have a bunch of traders here in Baghdad. I want more amenities in my empire to keep my yield rates up. I'm gonna pick up a seaport here because it will give me some food and some gold to help this city grow a little bit. I'm gonna go over here to Sana'a, and I'm also gonna grab a seaport here. The seaport is just really nice because it's +2 food, +2 gold, but it also gives +2 gold on each of these coastal tiles. And we are working a decent amount of coastal tiles, which is, a decent amount of gold, right? But yeah, like I also think it's just generally a good idea for me to be able to ramble while I'm doing something. It's not necessarily that I'm multitasking, right? It's I don't know if I want to call it multitasking, but it's like I'm tuned into more than one thing at a time, and not in a negative way, right? Because I think it's definitely possible to try and concentrate on more than one thing and then fail badly at that and completely cock up both. So I'm gonna give Araka 2 trade routes to help it grow, because the city doesn't really have a lot of food, and then I'm gonna trade with Cairo. And you know what else I'm gonna do in Araka? I'm gonna purchase a builder. See if we can convert some of this land into farms. I might put a farm over here to help this farm become bigger, and then put a farm here. Although this was going to be in a national park, so what I might do is I might replace this with some farms over here. Leave these mines here, put some farms up over here. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Oh, didn't mean to purchase things. But yeah, I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on some of these things. Am I talking out my ass? Does anything I'm saying make sense? Are these deep thoughts, or are they just very shallow thoughts of a simple mind? I don't really know. I like to think that they're not very shallow thoughts, but what do I know at the end of the day? I'm just one dude who's got a microphone and just saying stuff. That's all I'm doing. I just say stuff. That's like the Bill Burr thing, right? He just says stuff. He just says dumb shit that's funny. Whereas I guess maybe I'm just saying dumb shit that's not funny and is philosophically dangerous. That's another thing. A lot of people don't understand that ideas can be very dangerous. Certain ideas, they can almost be regarded like a virus or a pathological. It's almost pathological, right? The thinking can be pathological, which is a fucking crazy idea that the mere act of conscious or unconscious thought can be akin to a viral infection inside a organism, right? Or that the human collective consciousness has reached a point where it has achieved sort of collective behavior and exhibits what's the word? Exhibits, not traits, markers. It exhibits sort of almost signs of its own life, right? That's what a meme is. A meme is a little idea that bounces around all these little human heads. Anyway, look, right, I've rambled on enough. That was a good attempt. I think I did pretty well in just talking about random shit while I played the game. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. Please remember, if you want to see more from me, you can subscribe to my channel. If you want to directly support my channel, please leave a like on the video. And if you want to give me your feedback, what are your thoughts on this random shit that I talked about? Go ahead and leave a comment. Other than that, I want to say I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.